cotton papers. Okay, so Khadi paper, it is made in India. It's made from 100% long fibred cotton rag, internally sized with neutral pH. All the papers have rough surface, which is the reason why I like it. And they go from very small A6 packs of paper to double elephant, which I think is a metre by something. But they do some extra large pieces that are 2 meters by like a meter. They're massive. And they also do blacks and grey paper. Anyway, it's relatively cheap paper, 100% cotton, acid free, and it comes in various thicknesses. And I'm saying a lot. The pieces that I've used generally tend to be A4 or A3. Generally, that's because I don't work larger than A3, and if I buy an A3 pad, I can actually cut it up and make lots of small bits out of it. Now, how do I use this paper? Well, I tend to use it in very small bits for either roughs or for cards for people. It's the thing I like about the paper is it actually has quite a beautiful texture and a beautiful edge. And you can chop it with a knife, and you fold it over and obviously score it here. And then you just chop down with a knife in there, and you can replicate this nice textured edge. So if you have some cards, plain cards, you can do a small bit of artwork, stick this on the front, and it's quite a lovely thing. So different weights of paper. This is the lightest, I think, which is 210 GSM, which is like thick sort of cartridge paper. Now it does go up to super thickness, 1000 GSM, which would be like pretty thick cardboard. But the 320 GSM is the one that I like, and that's sort of like that. I don't know whether you can see. It's pretty thick. And that would be perfect for if you were doing a commission or something where you wanted it to have a bit of weight and a quality about it, because it would sit nice and flat in a frame, whereas the lighter stuff, which is the 210 GSM, tends to sort of bobble up, but it's fine for and I die. So why do I like using Khadi paper? Well, let me tell you. When I paint water, I like to use a dry brush technique. So what I'll do is I'll wet the brush and I'll run it on its edge along the top of the paper like that. And because this paper is so textured, I'll do some close-ups of that so you can see them. What it tends to do is it tends to pick up the texture of the paper, so you can create reflections pretty easily. So that's one of the nice things about it too. One of the other things is it is very, very absorbent. So it will suck in colour, and you can create some quite beautiful, subtle colour tones. Now, some paper, watercolour paper that's cheap stuff, can have a gloss on it, or it can have a coating, and it takes a long time to sort of sink in. Other watercolour paper, you can really load up with water, but it's not that thirsty, if that makes sense. But this Khadi paper, you can absolutely fill it full. It's like a sponge. It's like a sort of organic cotton sponge. You can fill it full of water and then just pour the pigment in, or you can go straight in with the pigment. So one of the other nice things about it is it's quite vibrant. So yeah, the thin stuff, which is 150 GSM is the thinnest, I think. This is great for cards or little sketches, or just doing test paintings and things like that. I wouldn't necessarily use it for a finished piece. The thicker stuff, which, as I say, is this, the 320, is excellent paper. And one of the things that I've seen some people do is, you see it has this feathered edge, is I've seen it sort of bare mount it just on a backing board. So the piece is sitting within a glass frame, obviously, and then it's actually being left with that, which is quite cool, really. So So yeah, I definitely recommend it as a paper. It's got a lovely, uneven, crazy texture. Sometimes when you get a sheet, it looks like it's got flaws on it because there'll be some bobbly bits. Sometimes the texture that's on it in a part of the paper will just go a bit mad, but that's the sort of character of it. So before you use it, it's worth holding it up to the light and actually just seeing if there's any little bits you need to pull off. But it's the chaos of the paper that makes it such a joyful product to use, particularly in, obviously, in an age of mass production and stuff. This really does feel handmade. Yeah, so I definitely recommend get some and have a play. It might not be for you, but yeah, I like it. And as a little bonus, I recently got a sketchbook of the same paper. It's not exactly the same texture. It looks slightly more machiny texture. It's not quite as uneven as some of the big sheets I've got of Khadi. But as you can see here, there's one of these little sort of, I don't know if you can see the imperfections. Again, it's this, they are quite nice. So hopefully on the other camera you should be able to see some of my drawings here, this beautiful rich ink that I've used here, and the colours really good, they're really strong. And this is some from a recent sort of history festival I went to. That's not so good. So yes, it takes colour very, very well. It's got quite a rough texture. So I'd recommend try it, get some, have a bit of a play. It might not be for you, but as far as art materials go, it's always good to mix up your media and mixing up your different papers. Because sometimes you can just discover different techniques. Certain papers will be good for some techniques, certain papers will be good for others. So yeah, it's all about the play. If you've enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe. That would be great. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks.